see. Let me make sure. Cause I'm live now, so let me make sure it's like okay. It says live. Let me make sure it's up and running.
I'll just go to the site itself. That way I know.
Make sure everything's all good. For some reason, I can't look at my own lives. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Oh, hello, Freddy. It's nice to see that you're already in here. It's nice to see you're here now. We're about to start in a second. It's just
Goddamn.
we're just trying to make sure everything's all good.
Uh,
Oh, hello, Koala. It's nice to see you here too.
I'm not seeing you pop up yet.
Well, they see me though, because they see I'm online right now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, sweet. Yeah, the hosting thing can be weird.
let's see. Give us.
Here you are.
Yeah, working now.
Yeah. Time to unfollow. Yeah.
Do you want to see the thumbnail made for you? Because you're about to
Oh,
see it.
Jesus.
You're about to see the thumbnail. No, Fred, I didn't do this logo
Did
myself.
you?
I don't have that type of money at time.
There you go.
Okay, let me put up the logo so we can get started officially with this now. Well, not logo, the fucking image I made in like 5 seconds.
What the fuck?
Alright then, hello, welcome to my podcast of the day. I'm Capsule-kin, and today I have my good buddy Reaps here.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking to him pretty much like an interviews type of thing like I've done before with Feline and, of course, Artemis. This time we're going to talk to him about his streaming. So let's start off with the first question, buddy. And I swear to God, if you do anything wild on this podcast, I will hunt you down. I know you live not that far away from me.
Hey, if you hunt me down, at least take me to dinner, please.
You know that I would have the silence be I would be silent a lot more, but I have to speak because in all honesty, I would have just left the call, but I'm like I can't do that. All right then. All right then. First question of the day. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Reeves.
Nice Reaper. I stream on Twitch. I mainly focus on a bunch of horror titles. I do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. At most times, there have been some times that it's kind of like life kind of takes over and it really takes a toll. But yeah, those are the days I usually stream, and I've been streaming for about a year and a half now.
Really, it's been a year. Really,
And it's
a year and a.
yeah, I think so.
I feel like I bet you like.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I met you back when I first was leaving college. So yes, that makes sense. Never mind. I felt like it was. I don't know why. I felt like it was longer than that. I felt like you told me it was longer. Jesus Christ.
It may have been like I'm paraphrasing like a mofo right now. It may have been longer than a year. I just kind of lost track. I wonder if Twitch has like hours. It's just like, oh, you've been doing this for this long. I know it has like achievements, like stream for this many hours, which is kind of odd. I don't really know what it wants me to do with those achievements.
You can't do nothing, man. It's kind of like the hub. They give you achievements, but you're not sure what you're supposed to do with those. You're just like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
But well, you actually answered one of my other questions about how long you've been doing it, so that's out of the way now. But
Oh yeah.
do you have anything else you want to say about yourself, real quick, before we go to any other ones?
Uh, Not really. Just
Okay.
I'm gonna be explaining it through the podcast anyway.
Okay. All right then. So, why did you decide to do streaming? Like, why go into this type of environment?
It wasn't a good reason. I'll tell you that right now.
Was it
Well,
money?
basically, no, it wasn't money.
Oh,
Although it'd be nice. It was mainly just for like notoriety, to kind of get my name out there, sort of not be a nobody on the internet.
okay.
Although, I mean, I've kind of learned that I mean, you could have all the popularity in the world, but you're still just normal people behind the camera. And when I like before I started streaming, I used to look up to a lot of streamers and YouTubers. I'm like, oh man, these people are so cool. I bet they're so great off camera and all this other stuff. And I had that for a while, but I guess as I got older and as I started like joining certain people's discords and actually meeting the people, meeting my idols, if you will,
Hmm.
it's been they're just regular people, and it's kind of sort of calmed me down, but it also gave me a little bit of confidence to at least attempt it myself. Because for a while I thought like, oh well, it's you got to be like talented at this, you need to know how to impress people, and I don't think I have all that, but I do want to like, be sort of online famous. But I definitely tone like I kind of I'm saying tone down. I kind of toned it down over, and I've just gotten a lot more comfortable the longer that I've done it.
That's pretty good. I mean, that sounds like
Mhm.
a good reason though to do it. You get, like, you get yourself out there because who knows, man? Anything could happen in like a couple of like year or so if you keep doing this.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That's good.
Uh, it takes some craziness to to get through some of those streams.
Understandable. One new question I have for you is like, why did you decide on nice reaps? Like, why reap specifically?
Well, I am very unoriginal. I will be honest with you right now, but the reason why is it's an old gamer tag I used to have, like all the way back Xbox 360 days, when it first came out, and the first game I had played was Gears of War One online, and I decided it was originally just Reaper, but I remember playing, and then I would get cursed out a lot.
Well, it's
I would have
Xbox. I
people
mean,
just
Xbox Live,
yeah.
man. I mean,
I could have missed those
it's the
days.
Wild West.
I could have missed those damn days. Uh, uh, but it was a friend of mine. Um, Back when we were in high school, he used to tell me, he's like, you're just like his he would come to my place and he would like watch me, and he's like, you're just too nice. He's like, how are you gonna be a nice reaper? You're the grim reaper. How are you gonna be nice? And I'm like, well, technically the grim reaper is kind of indifferent. He's not like bad or good, just kind of there. And I was like, I thought it was kind of clever to just put like stick the name nice on top of that. Um, Now it's also up to how you interpret it. Some people think nice reaps like, oh man, like he's nice at games and such, or some people just think like nice as like you're a nice guy, which I'm not. I'm terrible.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean that's how I got that name. Would I change it? Yeah, possibly if I could come up with something really unique and interesting. Um, I mean, I wouldn't. I think of like Ninja, for instance. Like his name, he's huge, but like his name is like it's
Ninja.
so
Just
basic.
Ninja.
It's so basic. So I just like, okay, well he got away with that. But yeah, I mean I've had it so long, I've had it so long, so I just decided to kind of like keep it and just plaster it all over the place.
I get you. Also, Freddie makes a good point. Anything used to go in Xbox 360 parties. I never was part of that, but I've listened to enough stories to know things were wild back then.
Oh yeah, I mean a lot of it. I hear a lot with people saying like, "Oh, this like you have a lot of racist people on the Xbox," and I was like, during the times that I played, it wasn't racism; it was just people being a dick, like the biggest dick possible. Nowadays, it's like people throwing around slurs, but back then it was just like, "I fuck you." your mom's shit lips. And you get that. You hear that fucking on the mic, and you're just like, oh god, not my mom.
I mean, I didn't, like I said, I didn't do Xbox, but like I had Xbox. I did play online, but I never did any of the talking. I did. I had some experience while playing like on PS3. That I played the Black Ops 2 zombie mode. I was like, oh, it'll be my first experience listening to people talk. I got in because I think I was in high school, but yeah, I was in high school when Black Ops 2 came out. But I remember my first experience was getting on, and then I could tell these kids were probably in middle school or about to get out of elementary school, but they were using the hard R a lot. And I was like, oh, it's time for me to go.
I don't know what it is with those kids. I guess they just hear their parents say it, and it's like, oh, it's a bad word, so I'm just gonna use that word just to it sound cool. And they don't even like half the time. It's like they have a basic understanding of what it is, but they don't really know like the I guess the history behind it because they're like fucking middle schoolers, or they just have a really basic understanding.
I would say it's not really the parents; it's more of just like internet and also joining other parties and stuff like that. So you hear other people throwing them around, you're like, oh, this is an insult. I can use that, right? Cool.
Yeah. This it's there's like certain words out there that I just even in like as a kid I just did not it didn't come off the tongue very well. And one of them was the in-bomb. I don't maybe it's because of my grandma, you know, because I don't know, you know, I'm part black, and on my mom's side she's biracial. My mom's side she has like southern black family, so it's like they would take you to church, and if you so much as sneeze, they would beat the shit out of you outside the church.
Oh, you went to that type of black church.
Fucking church that lasted like 5 hours. It felt
5 hours.
It felt like it never felt like it was gonna end. I was
5 hours.
I'm so sick of hearing gospel. But yeah, it was one of those kind of black families, and I guess they just kind of instilled the fear into me. Like, don't you ever use that word.
God.
And then they got on my brother, but not as much him as me. He's 7 years older than me, and he just uses it not hard R. He just uses the word itself, and I'm like, God damn, how do you do this? How do you just say it so freely? Because I mean, you look at us, we look more Hispanic, so I'm like peanut butter color. Actually, I'm darker than him. I should be able to say that word before he does. That's the bullshit.
Freddie, my friend Freddie just said something wild. He just said homeboy was stocking up on the prayers.
I really was. Oh man. If I may go on a small tangent.
Yeah, that's fine.
I there was a time when I was a lot younger. My cousin, because they would just bring the whole damn family. It was my mom, my dad, my brother, my cousins, my aunts, my grandma, all of us. This is in Virginia, like in bumfuck nowhere, and not like the more rural areas. But I remember my cousin. It was this guy. The pastor said, "If you have anything to say now, speak, or forever hold your peace." And my cousin just farted on the wooden chair. On the wooden chair, because it was one of those hard ass wooden chairs. And you just nobody said anything. You just hear, and it wasn't even my aunt. It was my grandma who took my cousin out. You just hear her yelling outside. She got the shit kicked out of her. I'm like, damn. I'm not. Oh god. Yeah, it was that was some times, man. I it was but yeah, I mean, going back, it's just like certain words that just I guess I just got the fear instilled from me from my family. That's just uh I don't care if anybody else uses it. You don't need to go for it, but me personally, I'm just like,
Hey, I get it. It's all good. I understand. I do the same.
I start having flashbacks of Jesus. He looking at me.
Like it's not like Vietnam flashback. Instead of Vietnam flashback, is it's like just the belt. It's just the swinging
you,
black and
you
white swing. Like you don't even see you just see the arm and the belt. And it's just black and white, and you see just a close up on your face zooming in.
you just see like a picture of Jesus, a black choir in front of him, and then a belt. And it's all like flash images. Like,
Oh god. All right, let me go to the next one then. But what do you like? You said horror games, so like, do you specifically only play horror games on your streams and everything?
oh no. It was my main one because I didn't really. I mean, at the time, I didn't see horror games on Twitch
Mm-hmm.
as like super saturated. Mainly because people would tend to gravitate more towards the popular games. So like the Call of Duties at that time, and fast forward, it was the Call of Duties, the Halos, the Gears of Wars. Then fast forward, you got the Fortnite, and now it's like God only knows.
Among Us
Oh,
now.
Among Us and that other game, that battle royale, with the
Apex,
little. No, not Apex. It's a battle royale, but it's kind of not at the same time like a
Warzone.
platformer. Um,
Wait,
God,
platformer. I've
uh,
never even heard of what you're talking about.
uh, you know the ones with the little like they look like Teletubbies, and they're like you could like grab people and throw them off. You got to like reach
Oh,
finish
Fall
line.
Guys.
You have like a Fall Guys. That's what it is. Um, that's like what it sounds weird. I'm calling it a battle royale, but I just feel by definition it kind of is one, just with platforming and not shooting people in the face. And of course, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds. So I didn't really see a lot of like horror titles, and if there were people playing horror games, they really didn't have a big viewership at the time. So I thought I had a chance, and I just tried it out. I didn't even start Twitch first. I started YouTube first, and I made like 3 videos and just lost interest. it was uh it was on the PS4. Um like the what do you call it? You know the PS4 has its own little streaming, its share feature,
Yeah.
live. And I started Bloodborne on there, and from there, I was like, okay, I just, I, it sounds awful. I really don't like it. But then I decided to do Twitch. I don't even really, I don't even really know why. I just up and decided like, oh, I just want to stream. I want to do this, and I just started streaming. I think it was Outlast. I think that was the first game that kind of sort of cemented me wanting to actually make a schedule and try to be more consistent with it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I got a good friend who's uh, he's he's been doing streaming. Like he's the one who pretty much taught me what I know with streaming. You know Vega, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's kind of the one who taught me about that. He's like, oh well, you need to do this, this, and this. You need to get a better mic because you're sound like crap. I'm like, thanks, man. And yeah, I mean that's essentially where I started. I started with playing Outlast, and then from there I started playing a bunch of other weird, like obscure horror based titles. And some people joined in, and really enjoyed my screams of terror because those games legit scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. I mean, look at you now, man. You have like 48 followers now. You almost hit the 50 mark. You're almost
I
there.
know, I know, I'm so close. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not really doing it for money. I just I guess I just like to talk to people at times and just goof around. Um, and I see some of the. I don't know if you've ever watched the funny moments on Twitch. There's like compilations of
Oh
them.
yeah, I've seen those.
Oh god, I really love those. I like just seeing the way that the viewers sort of like respond to certain things or how they can interact with the stream. I always thought that was really cool. So immediately kind of like took my attention away from YouTube. This is before like the whole ad apocalypse thing with YouTube and all that mess, all
Yeah.
those extra rules implemented in there. Um, but yeah, I mean that was kind of where I started.
Hmm. I can't remember what I was gonna say now because there was something related to what you were saying before about the horror. Oh, I mean, doing horror games isn't too bad. It's just like I will say this though, like the only time I really see people do horror games are like, or like who get a lot of views are like the more already established streamers, like streamers who've been doing it for a long time, or YouTubers who just now moved over.
Yeah, that that is a lot of that. Um, there is a lot of streamers that, well, there's a lot of YouTubers that do YouTube and also stream on Twitch. Some
Yeah,
of them stream on YouTube, but they'll stream on Twitch because it's also kind of easier. Like if YouTube is screwing you over with the whole ad thing, you could get on Twitch and people could donate money through there, and it would probably be easier to do that than hoping and praying that a machine kind of tells people that your uh, stuff is friendly and doesn't demonetize you. So I've I think I think Feline was saying about like when we were talking about the Let's Players, it kind of brought up a good point. A lot of it's not that Let's Plays are like getting like outdated, but I think more people are interested in the here and now and not the edited clips. So I'm noticing big YouTubers like Markiplier doing some Twitch streams and interacting with people. And I guess that's just more appealing to viewers than just watching them freak out on the camera on a YouTube video.
yeah,
So it's also about timing. Oh,
yeah. I see what you mean though. I know. I was trying. I also had to say like when it came to like the horror games, I remember one. I always tell you one game you should eventually try because I know I have it. Just like I'm not sure if like Feline has it or whatever Feline gets it is like the Phasma game because that's still a fun horror game. That's still a lot of fun because
I was yeah.
Hmm?
Oh no, you can continue. I'll tell you.
I say there was a one time with me, my one of my friends, and I'm not sure if you remember her. She was in the podcast one time. Artemis. We played that one time, and we had a fun time because at one point because we were in a area known as the asylum, so we went in there, and me and my friend were like, you're good because we've died too many times. Both black men have died too many times, so we're gonna stay in the van, and you got this." She blows into the bathroom, and things start popping off for her really bad. She was freaking out really bad. She said, "I will go back to church. I'll pray." And we're like, "Oh, oh, we're like, oh, that's not great. Let's go see her."
I wonder, I wonder if she went to the same church as me. She's having flashbacks too. Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I've kind of had a bad experience with getting the games that people have like been big on, like it's usually the multiplayer ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get the game. I'll get excited. I'll get the game, but I'll only play it like once or twice. So I'm just even with Among Us, I guess I'm just too afraid to play with like random people online because I just don't trust anybody. So it's probably better to just I would assume it'd be a lot more fun with friends anyway.
Oh no, in my opinion, it's funner to do it with your friends. Like in my opinion, when it comes to personally for me, when it comes to multiplayer games of any type, I think I would much rather play with friends.
But
than just like randos.
here's the thing though. For me, it's the opposite. For me, I actually have more fun playing with randos, and I know that sounds crazy, but my reasoning why is because with friends, you kind of already know what to expect from them, and you already kind of like know their skill level in that particular game,
Hmm.
and I guess what the reason I enjoy playing with randos in specific games, not all of them. Some games it's fucking terrible. But certain games I'm just like I really like to play with people of different skill sets. That way it just kind of you can just kind of make strategies and stuff on the go. Even though with a friend you could talk to them on the mic and you can make your own strategies that way. I guess I just find a thrill of the unknown with people that I don't know
Okay.
when it comes to lobbies. Yeah,
Yeah. It's just for me. I just like enjoy talking to my friends and just having a good time because it gets boring when I don't know anyone. Well, even not. I shouldn't say get boring. It's just like I am technically a shy person. Like I'm not very vocal, like at all. Like I'm in a lot of servers that I don't talk to people that much. Like I'm like even though we're friends, I was still surprised how we became friends. 'Cause I didn't speak that much on like the servers we're in. The only time I'll speak is like if we have like something in common or like we get into a deep conversation about something.
we did get into it. Did we?
I
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember. I can't remember. It was like years ago.
I
Not
feel
years
like
ago, months ago. Pretty much like pretty much that year. I think.
it's been a while. It's like we had like
Cause
a one night stand. I just kind of like
we started off in Danko's server, and then like that's how we became friends there.
yeah. I was like it's like a one night stand. I just woke up one day and you're on my friends list.
I can't
um,
remember. It was just we talked about something, and I for life of me cannot remember what it was.
it may have been Dragon Ball Z discussion since you have a huge knowledge of it,
Maybe
and we may have been talking about that.
it could have been. It's like it might actually it might have been in all honesty. Cause I think that's how me and Feline became friends too.
I don't know enough about it. As much as I want to say I love it, I don't think I know enough about. Like I only know like a lot of the main fights. I would actually watched every single episode of Dragon Ball Z. I know I'm probably gonna get chastised for that.
It's all good. Fucking fake fan, but whatever. I mean, no, I'm a fucking.
Bro, I'm a real fan.
I still want to do that eventually too. Is do a podcast. I might ask Blue if he. No, not Blue. I can't. I know Feline. Oh, I meant Taz. Taz is the one I meant to say. Joining
Oh my
in.
god, Taz knows so much shit about Dragon Ball Z and Street Fighter. It's amazing.
Well, Taz is legitimately a Saiyan. Like, his country is just full of Saiyans. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, he is. I don't really hear from him that much. When he comes in, he's always like cheerful and it's like, yeah, that's awesome. And then he'll just like disappear for like a month or so, and then come back with a drawing that he made, and it's like, God damn it, stay, motherfucker.
Well, I think he's in school if I'm correct. He's going to like I think he's like I can't. I'm not gonna say. I don't want to like say art school, but he's in some type of like school he's in right now. The last time I
Oh,
remember.
oh yeah, I didn't know that.
But yeah. What's the? Let me see what the
I
next one is here. Oh, well, I have. Well, this is like a dual question. So, do you enjoy streaming, and do you have any struggles with it?
I do enjoy it. I have some good nights, but the bad nights are usually when I'm either really tired or undergoing some kind of stress with just something.
Yeah.
I like my family is full of drama, and a lot of times it's good to just jump into a stream to just kind of get away from that. So I'll sometimes on streams I'll go like doubly hard. I'll just try to be as outgoing as I can. Just try to make everything interesting. But the struggles, I mean, the struggles with it, I think is literally just that. It's sometimes finding the motivation to do it. Since I work all day long, I can only really do it at night. So I would like to do it during the day. I think that would be really good. So, but there's sometimes at night where it's just like, do I really want to stay up to like 2 in the morning streaming this horror game? And another struggle that I have is it's just sometimes just coming up with what's interesting or what I believe is interesting to other people. Now, sometimes I am the kind of player that usually just doesn't talk during games. Like if I'm playing like an RPG, I won't say I'm sitting in a room, I'm quiet, and it's like let's see. It's like trying to balance out what you want to play with what you think is interesting to other people. So if I'm playing like an RPG game, I would have to. I notice myself like just talking over everything that I'm doing, and that's that's one of the reasons why like I've just kind of avoided playing streaming Genshin Impact. Fucking fantastic game, by the way.
Hmm.
I know it's a lottery machine. Fuck it. But anyway, but it's just it's just trying to figure out what it is. Now I've had friends tell me like, yeah, just play what you want. It's your channel. Just do what you want. But if I do that, I'm not gonna force myself to play something that I don't want. But um, if I do play something, I want to play something that
You enjoy it.
will allow, yeah, it would allow me to sort of interact with people more.
Yeah.
So that usually the low hanging fruit is the horror games. Is what I pretty much started my channel on. It was the horror games, and I all the stuff that I do, the reactions I have on there is very legitimate. I am genuinely screaming my ass off in those videos because I get startled, and I try to make it as just spooky as I can. Just turn off all the lights. It's late at night. I'm in this empty room, and sometimes I'll like open the window so a cold breeze will come in, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just try to do whatever I can to kind of immerse myself,
Okay.
and it's just, yeah, it's all legitimate. It's not like some of it may be exaggerated, but a lot of it isn't.
Uh, uh, you're able to see my chat, right?
Yes.
My friend Freddie did have a question for you. You want to like read that real quick, or you want me to read? I don't care which way.
All right. I'd be interested in hearing about how starting out was for him, because it seemed getting the ball or the initial ball rolling is impossible. If he had any tips, my a big one of the biggest tips I can give you when it comes to streaming: stay consistent. Just be very consistent. Pick a time, and stick with that time as much as you can, and just I wouldn't say just start plastering your logo if I guess when you've done it for a little bit and you make your own logo, I would say plaster it all over the place, but definitely try to get your name out there. If there are, I mean, there's a lot of Discord servers that will allow you to promote your stuff, including your streams. There's of course Twitter, but Twitter's kind of for me though, it I really didn't actually promote myself that much. I just kind of started streaming and just I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm just going to do this from now on." And it was honestly just not it was really simple. It was mainly me just figuring out what it is, like what was a good time for me, and just trying to stick with it, because consistency that will really help you, especially if you want to if you're doing certain things. Like your personality is another thing. um Personality wise, I don't know. I don't even know why people follow me. I feel like my personality is fucking terrible. I curse a lot on streams. I yell. It's just like, oh god, it's a mess. It is an utter mess. But I
Reeves, there are
mean,
worse people
I do
on
it.
this hell site compared to you. You're fine. And
There's some douchebags I've watched. They're just mean. Um, there was this guy the other day who was playing Genshin. I was just watching him, and I guess he didn't get any good rolls, so he was like cursing at the chat, and people were just like calm down in all caps, and he's just like, no, fuck you. I'm like, jeez, guy had like over 24,000 followers. I'm like, should I just be an asshole? Is that what's gonna get me to 50?
who knows?
Uh,
I mean, you
but
could
yeah.
throw a cat, maybe. I don't know.
Oh my God, give. Oh, my cat's right here too. Hey, you want some alcohol? Oh, look at you. It's just throw your ass out the window because you like to claw at my door at night like a little asshole. Yeah, even I don't know. I've seen a lot of streamers. It's not good to compare. Also, don't compare yourself. One of the biggest things. This goes with anything. Comparing yourself is harmful to your growth. That was the thing that I've been told a lot since I started art. That was a huge lesson that I had to learn is stop comparing myself. And the same goes with streaming. Is don't compare yourself to the big streamers. Don't just try to do your own thing. If there's something that you find unique that you really enjoy, go for it. And I think everybody has their own unique little quirks. The challenge could be just finding it, you know, or certain other little tips. Streaming games that really aren't streamed a lot. So I'll stream some old PS2 games like Fatal Frame or Siren, and I look on there and it's just it didn't appear at that time. It didn't appear like they were being streamed a lot. So I had people, I guess, that just kind of came in that were very curious, and they stuck around, and I'm really happy that they did. Uh, it's still like a huge list of other PS2 titles, but yeah, like horror games I need to get to. But yeah, I mean that's I guess that's the tip I can give you for starting out. And it may take a while. Don't expect it to happen overnight. If it does, that's great, but don't expect it to happen overnight. It could take a good while.
Yeah, I see what you mean though, like all that, because I know I tried doing the gaming thing, and I realized I only reason why I would do gaming thing now is if I'm doing it with others, because I can't do it by myself. I've realized. That's one thing. Also, I would say you should try to figure out is if are you better with people or are you better by yourself.
I yeah. I actually needed help when I first started out. I before like I did the horror streams, but the streams that I felt most comfortable in was the streams I was actually streaming playing like COD with Vega. We were and we don't we're we make fun of that whole MLG thing. So but we just played the game for fun. And we we just get on there and just shoot the shit, just talk to each other and laugh. And I found though, like the time goes by really fast, and next thing you know, he's like, "Yeah, I gotta go to work in the morning." It's like 3, and it's yeah, it's a lot of that. Don't ever feel bad if you want to have a friend on your stream or if you want another person to join you, so you can be a lot more comfortable. Because in the end, it's think of it like kind of like a performance. You want to make it as comfortable for yourself as you can, so you can actually be yourself. Because that's what people want. They want you to be yourself, and uh, it's just like I said before, just try to stay consistent with it. If you get to a point where you feel like you won't need anybody, then you just break off and start doing it solo. But don't ever feel like bad if you want other people in your stream so you can feel more comfortable, because people who are watching will see that. They will see or hear it in your voice if you're very like on edge. um like I'll it's probably gonna sound cocky, but I'll go back to the vids, like the VODs from my past streams, and sometimes I'll watch them to just listen to myself and see what I can improve upon by doing that. It sounds very weird listening to myself speak. I don't at all sound like what I don't at all sound like what I imagine myself to sound like. Uh, but it's just, if you have the feature where it'll like, I mean, it helped me. If you have the feature that will record the videos or your streams, I would say try to get that early on, just to kind of review yourself and see what it is that you want to change. I found that to be very useful, like early on. And another thing is making a good, like, make a detailed Twitch page. It doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles, but it would be nice to, like, because some people actually do look through that and just have like your bio, rules for the stream, stuff like that. You don't have to do it all at once. You could do it like, you could mix it up. Sometimes I, like the day when I did mine, which I need to update by the way. I did the bio, and and it was really hard. I don't know why it's hard to talk about myself, but uh, I did the bio, then I had to break that off. Then I would watch like some other people's streams, and I would look at theirs and see what they did, and just create like little rules for the stream so people don't come in with racism or sexism or whatever, any sort of profanity that could potentially, well, not potentially, it would break the terms of service for Twitch, and plus you don't want that toxicity in your chat anyway. And just try to form your channel. It'll happen if you just stay consistent with it. Just form your channel; it will happen over time. A lot of people think that streaming is like, oh, I'm just sitting playing video games. You are correct. It is, you're sitting playing video games, but there are a lot of other factors surrounding that are involved that not many people talk about. I'm sorry, I rambled all.
Oh no, I mean that was good. I
Little bit.
mean, it's just an interview thing, so you're allowed to do that, man.
Mhm.
All right,
Uh,
but all right then. Well, you kind of already done some of this part of the question, but I still can like ask anyway. But what do you consider like some of the positives and negatives of streaming? If you have any more like output, like input on that.
for me, the positives of streaming is, I guess, for the time, if you're doing well or you're being yourself, and you look and you'll see like viewers start accumulating, or you'll get a follow, and it's like a rush. You get like a small rush from it. It's like, oh my god, I'm actually uh like entertaining people. Or there's a there's one viewer that that watches like all of my streams. I really appreciate it. But he pretty much told me outright. He said I really make his day, and I'm like, that right there really like makes streaming feel a lot worthwhile. Even on some days that I don't feel like doing it, just kind of just hearing that you're making somebody else's day or making somebody else happy just by watching you, or if you're playing a game that they remember but it's so obscure not many other people do, and you're just like, oh man, I used to love that game, and they'll watch your stream, and just be able to socialize with people. Um,
Oh, yeah.
um, it's a lot of it's a lot of pros with that. The cons with it is, it's a con with it is also a sort of necessity, I feel, and that is trying to come up with a good time for when you stream. So originally, when I started, I was trying to stream from 9 to 2 in the morning, and that didn't work out too well because I had to be at work at like 8 in the morning. So I was getting really drained, really tired, really fast, and then I to the point where I just said, okay, I'm gonna have to push these times back. Then I went from 10 to 1. No, I went to 10 to 2. And I realized that a lot of people weren't watching during that last hour. And plus, it was just taking up time for me. So I said, okay, let me just cut it back an hour. So I'm just going to go to 10 to 1. And ever since, I've just been sticking with that because it's been the most comfortable for me personally. Now, if you want to stream for 4 to 5 to 7 hours, you can. Just it's all about what makes you the most comfortable and what you want to do the most. But what you do figure out, you want to stick with it and just keep going with it. It's a learning process. You're not gonna get it right off the bat unless you have been studying streamers all your life, and because I mean there's a lot of streamers out there that essentially have the same thing, but they've been doing it for a while and it works. You know, it's worked out for them. Um, so and also don't ever feel shy about like asking family or friends to just check you out. I have my older brother. He's big on Instagram, and I asked him if he could get if he could like get my name out there a little bit, and he's like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's just it's a really, for me it was just like a, what do you call that? I'm thinking a contact, but it's not the right word for it. uh, but I mean, I
Shout
digress.
out.
Yeah, well, no, it's not just a shout out. It's something else. I can't really remember what it was. Um, you ever heard the saying, "It's not what you know, it's who you know"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where it was with me and my older brother. He's had a lot of followers on his, and a lot of them like to like play games and all that. So I was just like, yeah, just if they don't like me, that's fine. If they do, that's great. Um, I just want to see how many people I can get to just socialize with, because another con that you're going to run into when streaming is a chat that is not like active. They're like, you'll be playing a game for a good while and nobody's speaking, and or you won't have any viewers, and it's it can kind of hurt their motivation at times because you feel like, oh, you're just not interesting. But don't let that deter you. Just because people, just because you won't have that many viewers, it just means that people haven't actually found your stream yet. There may be a lot of people out there that do like your stream. They may really like your personality, but like I said, you gotta keep at it. So when, if or when they do come around, there you go. But it's motivation also. It's like it's motivation with just trying to stay positive and trying to stay like as active as you can, just but at the same time being yourself. Even if your chat, even if nobody's speaking in your chat or you don't have any viewers on your chat, just be yourself, just do what you would usually do, and people always stop by, and sometimes they'll like what they see and they'll stick around and they'll comment. Uh, I've I've got way too many degenerates on my on my followers list now that I think about it.
It seems pretty tame.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for that whisper from some random person who's watched it. It's like, oh hey, I really like this. You wanna you wanna? I should save that for another time.
Don't worry, don't worry. We'll get through those type of questions eventually.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? When it came to what you were saying beforehand, like playing games like people remember. I remember my first stream I did was on Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, which was like an old game. And I was like, oh, it's on Switch. It's on Discord, not Discord, Steam now. I bought all three, and I was like, oh, maybe I should stream this. And remember, you were there, and like that one girl who used to show up in like your streams was there also. And then I had one dude.
Oh,
Hmm?
Emosal, I think it was.
Yeah. And then one other dude showed up, and he was happy to see me play because of the fact that it was like an old game, a game he remembers. He's like, oh, I haven't seen this in a long time.
Yeah.
Because that's like an old
I
PS2
mean, yeah.
game.
And that's another thing. It will grab some people if it's just like if you're playing something that is very obscure. Now you shouldn't have to feel forced to play anything, but if you are playing a game that just so happens to be like Ty or God, you remember a game called Custom Robo?
Yes. I've seen like
Um,
I remember it in the sense of I've seen like I saw a review of the game. I have not actually ever played it.
I think that's the game that gave me a boner for modular upgrades in games. Because you could literally customize yourself and become the most busted ass fighter in that game if you just had the right stuff. And when I was a lot younger, I loved that game. I never bought it. I never bought it. Um, I ended up getting Metroid Prime 2 because I'm a huge Metroid fan. And but at the time as a kid, I was like, it's either one or the other, and I but of course picked Metroid. But Custom Robo I rented when it was when Blockbuster was still around. Actually, it wasn't even Blockbuster I got it from. It was like Family Video or something like that.
God.
And yeah, Family Video, Video Review, Hollywood Video,
Oh
Blockbuster,
God, Hollywood
all those.
Video. Oh my God.
I
That's
miss
so
them.
old, man. I remember going in when I was like, I think I had like, what did I had a PS2, and I remember going in buying fucking Klonoa 2. I think.
You remember it always smelled like popcorn when you walked in.
I don't. I never smelled it. I never paid attention to the smell. But I remember Blockbuster did like when. Remember when remember that one movie came out like a long time ago. It was like, well, it was I think it was a straight to DVD, like straight to VHS DVD thing, but it was the Rugrats Going Wild, which was like the Rugrats crossing over with the Wild Thornberries,
Oh no, I remember that. Oh my
and
god.
and they had like that scratch all. They had these like scratch off ticket things. I remember getting one of those and almost vomiting because one of them was actually really
Oh,
bad.
there. God, God, I miss those days.
Simpler times.
I feel like things were. It was simpler times. Things were just a lot less stressful, and the only thing I wasn't focused on bills or anything. I was more focused on just like, oh, if I could just not eat for a week, I can save all of my lunch money and buy this new game I want.
I don't know, man. It just felt like it's one of those things where I look back, I'm like, I don't think it was like simpler because I was a kid, even though that is like one reason. I think it was just simpler because I don't know why. Just to me personally, I feel like the '90s and like early 2000s was like a weird golden era of just fun and like positive thing. Like, don't get me wrong, some negative stuff happened during those times, during like especially early 2000s, but it was like it felt like more like a golden age of like positivity. Like a lot more fun things were happening. Like you remember like the PS2 for God's sake is still like known as like like is one known as one of the more legendary consoles because of how many games it had and how like people own it. Hell, they didn't stop
It had
making them until like
so.
what two? They didn't stop making them. Like I think if I'm correct, I think they still had them. I think they were still making them, and I think it didn't. I think they stopped around maybe like a year or two after the PS4 came out. Cause it took a long time
Ah,
before they were like, oh yeah, we're done making PS2 stuff now.
yeah, I think to this day the PS2 is the biggest selling console of all time. I if it still is, but I remember at the time, I remember seeing a lot of just like this is how many units the PS2 sold, and you look and it's just like, god damn, like I remember when the PS4, I think that was the time when I looked at it. I was like, oh, the PS4 is selling really well, and Switch is selling like this, and the Xbox One, and then I look back, and it was just it was like a scale or just all the systems that sold, and the PS2 was just up there. It was like off the chart. It's crazy because even after even after like the PS3s and the PS4s came out, well, maybe not the PS4s, but even after the PS3s came out, people were still buying PS2s because it had so many games for it,
Well, even
and
then,
it had a
people
lot of
rebought
support.
PS2s too.
Oh, oh yeah, they would. People would shoot.
Yeah,
Oh
don't
my
forget people
gosh.
who like sold their old ones years down the road. Like, man, I missed this game. Oh, like, oh, I found this old PS2 game, and someone's selling a PS2. Oh, let me buy this real quick.
Yeah. You probably have a lot of collectors now that still like to play like the original copy of games. I You got emulators and all that stuff nowadays, but I can name like one or two people that have legitimately told me like, "Hey, I rebought a PS2 from eBay." No, it wasn't eBay. What am I saying? It was Amazon. They said I got it from Amazon, and I just to replay a lot of the old games that I remember. And since some of the more obscure games weren't very popular, the price was really small, so they got like a fucking huge bargain from like a whole lot of PS2 games just right there at their doorstep. So people are still purchasing PS2s, surprisingly. It's probably not huge, but I, it's more of a hunch. I still feel like people are doing that.
I will,
You probably have some game people out there that are doing that or collectors.
I will die on the hill of, and I know this is a crazy statement to say. I still, with like how well the PS2 did, I still think nothing of. I don't think any other gaming console will ever reach the PS2 status. The Wii almost did. The Wii almost did, but I still think the PS2 is still going to be known as the most sold and probably the most owned and played console in like the last 20, like maybe 20 years, maybe.
Oh my god. Yeah. It God damn, you're making me feel old. 20 fucking years.
Dude, it came out when I was like in like first grade, so it's just like it was.
Yeah,
It's like been over a long
well,
time, man.
I was 7 if it was 20 years ago. So I shit, actually I may have watched my I remember watching my brother. It was my brother who got me into horror games. Cuz I used to watch him play Silent Hill 2 and Resident Evil when I was a kid, because it was the 7 year gap between me and him. He's my older brother, and he used to get certain horror games. Even now, like nowadays, he just plays Call of Duty and plays sports games. But that's like the primary target for for Activision, I guess. But back then, he used to play Silent Hill, Resident Evil. Damn, I remember playing NBA Streets with him as a kid, and Def Jam Vendetta. Damn.
We're never gonna get games like those ever again. I feel sadly.
Uh, and I he owned Soul Reaver, which I really wish that they would remake that game. I love the Soul Reaver game. I love the Blood Omen games. They were in the same universe. Uh, but it was God,
Well, I heard
it was
recently they were remaking one PS2. Well, not remaking. I think they're either I need to remember what the new story was. They're either remaking or just remastering one old like PS2 title. It was like Blood something. It's like I'm not sure if you remember the characters. Like a vampire woman, red hair. I can't
Oh
remember.
yeah, Blood Plus or
Not
Blood
not Blood Plus. That's anime.
was what
It was
I thought you were referring to a game based off the anime.
no, no. She had red hair. It's like she had like blades on like her arms. I think like some type of blade she put around
Oh,
her arms.
Blood Rain.
Blood Rain, yes. I think I remember hearing about that getting a remaster or a remake. I think.
Oh god, I would love that. I used to like. I mean, I wasn't huge on Blood Rain, but it was really cool. Um, it's also one of the reasons I got into goth girls when I was a lot young. There was a lot of goth girls back then, like in the media video game.
That's a that's a topic we will get into one other day. But Freddie did have a question for us. So he asking, are there any new games that you two are specifically looking forward to? You can go first since give it a guess, man.
um, honestly, I kind of got everything that I want right now. I wanted a Resident Evil 2 remake. We got that. I got the 3 remake. I know it didn't get great reviews, but I still had fun playing it. I got it like half the price it was because it was on sale when I got it. So, there was Final Fantasy 7 that got remade, and I guess the only game I'm looking forward to now is Metroid Prime 4, if they ever come out with it and
Well,
stop dicking around. God damn it, Nintendo, what are you doing?
hey man, it's better. In my opinion, I'm okay with it not getting any like. I would at least like some type of like information, even if you don't have gameplay. Just at least keep people updated.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. They're not telling us anything. It annoys the hell out of me.
Uh,
I would at least like to hear the soundtrack. At least one song. Like, come on. I love that ambient music.
I'm still waiting to see if they're gonna port them over to the fucking Switch or not.
Oh, they haven't?
I don't think they have. If I'm correct, last time I checked on the Switch, it's not on. They're not on there yet.
Damn, that should be an easy port. I mean, you're just move. If they're doing Metroid Prime trilogy, um, I still feel like that would be a relatively easy port. And if it would be even easier if they had if they were porting the original GameCube games, which I mean, trilogy was the original GameCube games, but it was like changed to be a little bit. I mean, they had made changes with it, um,
But wasn't
but
three only? Wasn't three on the Wii though?
3 was on the Wii. But they did a thing with the Metroid Prime trilogy. They actually lowered the difficulty, which really annoyed me.
Oh, okay.
And also removed a lot of the effects of the beams that you had. So back in Metroid Prime 1, when you got the ice beam, when you charged the shot, your entire arm would like turn into an icicle, which is such a cool effect. Or the wave beam, you would have like electricity like surrounding your arm when you charged it. And in Metroid Prime Trilogy, I guess they just didn't have the coding or the space for it, so they just didn't include them. And it's just a regular. It's the same beam. It's just without all the cool effects on them, and the difficulty had been scaled down because I guess people were complaining about it, despite there being an easy difficulty.
They should have just
Um,
they should have just been like Nomura and just been like, oh, you guys don't like how easy it is. I didn't mean to make it so easy. Let me add a mode real quick that's gonna break your legs, and then to have a secret
there
boss that will
was
make you want to throw your TV out the window.
I would I would fucking fight that secret boss if it was in a Metroid game. Um, there was another thing that I didn't like about Trilogy, that was that they in order to unlock hyper mode, you have to have a clear file on your save, and if you ever if you ever somehow deleted that clear file, you would have to start all over in order to re-unlock the hardest difficulty, which
Oh, that's stupid.
I it's so dumb. I did that. I replayed through Metroid Prime 1 on a clear file with the fusion suit, just to see how it was. And I was like, okay, I don't really like the fusion suit. I want to go back to the Varia suit. I couldn't do that. So I resaved over that file, and I had to. It didn't give me the option to do the hyper mode. It's like, you got to beat the game again. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to do. I want to do it on harder difficulty. I hated that. If they ever report that game, they better like take that stupid thing out.
Hopefully they'll fix. Hopefully if they report, they'll fix some issues. But for me personally, when it comes to games like new games coming out, I would say the new Miles game, the new Spider-Man game came out. It's about to come out. I would like to play that since that's on PS4 right now. I don't have the money for a PS5, so I'm gonna get that. And then
Miles.
I was so happy when I saw it. Me and one of my friends, we decided like the day before. I think it was the day before the PlayStation thing, the PlayStation event. We said, you know how wild it would be if they showed off a Spider-Man game. And you're like, yeah, that'd be crazy. And then the first trailer was Miles Morales Spider-Man. We're like, oh my god, oh shit, Miles. Oh,
dude, have you seen the effect that they're giving him? They're trying to pay homage to I think it was Into the Spideyverse movie.
yeah,
And
I've seen it. Like
they've made it to where, yeah, they lower his frame rate, but keep the frame rate from the other world and make him look like he's swinging like he's in a comic book.
like it made it seem
Oh
like
my
he's
god,
from
it
the
looks so
movie.
cool.
And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's and yeah, I think if I'm correct, they said you can turn it off too. But I'm like, if I play it, I'm gonna probably keep it on because that seems gonna. It's cool to me that they took the time and effort to do that.
yeah. Like when I saw it, I was like, "Holy crap! That looks." It looks like it could be a little disorientating, but like once my eyes kind of just like adjusted, I was like, "Oh wow, this is actually kind of cool to look at."
Like the time and effort it took them to do that, because that almost feels like that's something. Like it almost feels like that's something in which someone on the team was like, the moment the game was announced, they're like, hey, the moment they said, hey, we're gonna do Miles next, and like the Spider-Verse movies are out, and they're like, wait a minute, we need to put the outfit in there now, so we need to start coding. Someone start coding and doing all this shit now, because that seems like something that would be like DLC later on or something. No, that's in the game. That's something. Yeah, if you pre-order, you unlock early game. That's like, oh, that's cool. Oh, gee.
Yeah. So is it another game,
It's not
or I think I asked it before.
the way
Is
I've seen it and the way it sounds. It's not it's a sequel, but at the same time, not a sequel. It's not Spider-Man 2. This is like a side story, pretty much game. It's like takes place in between Spider-Man, like Spider-Man 1, and then whenever Spider-Man 2 comes out.
ah
It's like they did this before with Xenoblade 2, where they had a new DLC that came out that you could buy, or you could buy it separately by itself, and you don't need the game.
uh oh yeah, was it Xenoblade? No, Xenoblade.
It was Xenoblade 2.
Oh, it was Xenoblade 2?
Yeah.
There was another one that was Xenoblade X or something like that
Mm.
between 1 and 2.
I've ever like I'm not that in depth in the Xenoblade games. I've only played a little bit or two.
I played a lot of 1 and decided I didn't like it. And then I got chastised by a friend of mine who's just like, "It's the best game ever." And I'm like, it was a broken mess when I played it. And I hated the voice actors. I played it on English, and god damn it, were they bad.
I would say the Xenoblade 2, the voice actors weren't bad. It was more in terms of the main character just wasn't interesting, and then also the fact that it's like I had to grind other abilities I didn't know I needed to grind. Or at least I thought if I had to grind them, it would just be for side missions or something like that. Like just like, oh, you have to do these certain things with this character at like during battles and stuff like that if you want to upgrade their ability. I'm like, okay, whatever. But at one point, it affected story progress, as I couldn't keep going. I couldn't complete the main story without progressing while upgrading this character's ability. And I'm like, oh, hopefully it won't take too long. I looked at it and I'm like, I need to be rank 3, and it's gonna probably take me more than 2 or 3 days to do this. So never mind. Uninstall. Never playing this game again.
Damn. I had heard that that was a problem that people were having with it. Um, I was Vega was telling me about it. He was saying that there was a he has to like do all these extra things just to get something in order to continue the story. But they don't. He says he's like they didn't really like
Oh,
specify
they don't.
that you needed, he says they didn't specify that you needed to do these things, but I guess they just implied that you'd be doing these things before you got to this point. So he's like, now I got to go all the way back and do all these things that then to finally push the story forward. He says, I don't even know if I should. He says, should I just do everything before I just start the story?
I mean, that's what happened to me. It was just like, wait, I have to. You never implied this. Like you implied it for side missions or little side things here and there. You didn't imply it for main story. So I didn't care. And now it's like, oh, actually, you did need to do it. I'm like, that's stupid. You should have specified that. Like I've seen people like it and people do love it, and that's good. I'm happy people like it, but when it came to that, I'm like, I do think that's kind of bad. Like, is that good? Maybe should I say bad game design or bad like instructions? I don't know how to really describe it. It's just something that shouldn't be like. You shouldn't have that impede the main story because the stuff you have to do is tedious. It's like stuff that you have to do that's specific.
uh, so I'm gonna assume that they were in a boardroom meeting and some guy's like, imagine if we made post game content part of the main story and mandatory. That sounds unique, right? Because when I was explained to me, it sounded a lot like post game content or just little side quested stuff.
Well, it sounds like
And
stuff you would do that it's like, oh, I want 100% the whole game, so let me do all this other activities and stuff like this.
why would they do that? That's so weird.
I don't know. I'm not sure if the first one did it. That makes me all not want to play the first one if the first one did it. Because it seems
Oh no,
stupid.
I don't. Well, the first one didn't. At least from what I remember, it didn't do it. The problem I had with the first one was the voice actors, the animations that were not working properly. It's actually very funny going back and looking at it because the animations weren't fully implemented by the looks of it. So when you were running around an enemy and you're auto battling, the animations for the legs wouldn't move, so it looked like you were skating around them. Like your legs were like stuck in place, and you're just like moving around them. Uh, every single time you attacked, and if you jumped a certain way, you could actually, like, you know how you jump and then you turn the camera around. Well, in that one, if you jumped and turned the camera, the character, like, if you try to jump forward and you move left or right, the character would maintain that forward animation, but like be suspended in air, but he would go left or right within the same animation. So think of Mario's jump, you know, where he got his like little fist in the air and his legs. Oh, he's the Mario jump. Imagine that, but instead of going forward, he's going sideways.
Oh, jeez.
It was, and of course, my favorite one, like I said, is the voice actors. Fucking Riki sounded like a child molester. Ryan sounded like he was eating peanut butter every single time he spoke. And you had the main character who was as British as you could get. I don't he didn't even look it. He didn't, like, I feel like he should have been. I literally felt like shook. Listen to his voice actor. I feel like he should have been running around that entire game with a big British flag tattooed on his back. He had a thick accent, like at least to me, he did. and the rest of them were just like, I I didn't enjoy the game if you couldn't tell,
Yeah,
even though it did.
uh, oh, one other game I am looking forward to really is just of course Cyberpunk as well because I know that's about to come out in December now. I wanted to come out next week because I would have been playing it all day. I wouldn't be online right now.
I that I I'm not gonna lie. I'm just not. It's not that I'm not excited about it. It's just that it's not grabbing me as much as I would like it to.
Yeah.
When I look at it, I see all this hype surrounding it, and maybe it's because I haven't looked up enough information on it. But when I did see the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, it looks pretty. It looks pretty fun. First person shooter, and I guess a RPG and all that stuff. But it didn't really grab me. So the fact that they were pushing it back the way that they are, it's kind of making me wonder what exactly are they putting in that game besides like the hilariously memed genital system.
Oh, there's a like from what I can tell, there's a lot they put it. Like they even made their own like original soundtrack. Like they're mostly not using any like already established music. They got bands and stuff to make new songs.
I really want Keanu Reeves to be in that game.
He is in the game.
I'm gonna romance the fuck out of him,
You can.
even
He's a
though
ghost.
son of a bitch.
He's a tech. From what I can tell, he's a tech ghost. So he's in your head. You get to hang out with him though. He's there with you the whole time.
Hey. So in my dreams, he's just gonna be like, you're breathtaking, and I'm gonna be so happy. I swear to God, he better say that in that game.
Oh no.
Otherwise, it's gonna be like a fucking 1 out of 10. You
What
better say you're breathtaking, you ass.
what grabbed me for that game though was I was like you where I wasn't that interested in it. And I was like, oh, this seems pretty interesting. But I think what got me was when I learned about how it was a D&D. It started off as like a tabletop game with like 20. I think it was like called like Cyberpunk 2020. I think was the original like where it started. And I watched the guy who made it talk about it. I'm like, huh. So I looked up more about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm interested. Because there's already established, like, I actually spent, like, a couple of weeks ago, I spent hours just listening to different lore videos. I'm not even done, like, I still have others' lore videos saved up because I want to have a better understanding of the world that it's already established. It's not like other games where, like, the world is established in game, so you get to learn about the world in game. No, this is like, you can learn about the world they live in before you start the game, which
Damn.
is really
Well,
cool to me.
as long as they don't pull a Destiny and have like a lot of the main lore in a codex on a cell phone app, I would I'd be totally fine with it. I don't know. It looks interesting. I uh I guess I'll just have to see more of it. I'll
Yeah,
have to like watch people do it
I think
just
that's
to
my
see.
only real complaint when it comes to the Cyberpunk game is how mostly influencers have seen more gameplay than anyone else, and I'm like, that kind of sucks. That's kind of like it's like I'm happy like people have seen it, but I think it still sucks that you haven't really shown a lot more to the community itself. Because
They
they're
may be
hmm?
they may be trying to hold it back just to surprise everybody.
Probably because it's like a lot of people who I do watch, like Young. I'm not sure if you know me, like Young, yeah, or Young. Like he really loves Cyberpunk, and like he was there when, like around the time when it first was like starting to really come out, and like they already had like some gameplay tech already done. Like he was one, if I'm correct, he was one of the people who saw like firsthand what it started at.
Shoot, I remember Young. Yeah, I think I was. God, it's been a while. Um, Damn, I forgot why I used to watch him. I think it was around some sort of some kind of drama online, and then a lot of his videos at that time, I think when he first started, a lot of them were just kind of like I just felt depressed listening to them. I was like, God damn it, everybody's like a fucking criminal. Uh, but he did have some interesting gaming takes on or I guess reviews that looked really interesting. I would have to go and just take some time and just listen to the lore like you're doing. I'd have to just do that in order to really appreciate it.
Because
Uh,
there's a lot. Surprise, like you said, it started off as a tabletop game, so there was already established stuff.
that is so weird. I mean, it's not bad weird. It's like interesting weird.
Like I'm more surprised I've never heard of it. Like I'm like why I'm like why didn't anyone tell me there was a fucking D&D cyberpunk thing so I can stop playing these medieval stuff? Get this trash out of my face. I want to be a cyberpunk guy.
I want to be a Fuda that shoots robots in the face.
I mean, actually, Reeps, this isn't a joke. You can actually do that in the tabletop version. Like you can turn
Oh,
yourself into a furry, Reeps.
I wouldn't do that. Come on.
Shut the fuck up. You would.
uh, oh crap.
Okay.
Uh, was there any other ones
Yeah, there was
that you
still some.
were?
There was still some. Let me get back to where I was. Oh, do you have any like streamers or like, or in sense YouTubers too that you have looked up to that kind of like inspired you or anything when it comes to this stuff?
You may hate me for it. I know he's kind of an asshole, but what kind of inspired? Well, it was part of an inspiration was watching Doctor Disrespect.
Oh, I don't care. I don't watch Doctor
Yeah.
Respect at all. I barely know the
Uh,
man. The only thing I know, he cheated on his wife. That was really it.
he cheated on his. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of a prick, but I guess what inspired me to do what I do now when I watched him was I really enjoyed, like, I liked his confidence because he gets on there and he's in character, he's ready to go all the time, and he's just very he could be very arrogant and cocky. Actually, he is very arrogant. But I mean, he's. I guess at the time when I was just watching Twitch streams, I was just kind of in awe. Like this guy who's giving a performance very like super into character, and everybody's just eating it up. They're like people just love it, and he had his own theme song, which I thought was so cool. Like I thought it was super neat. I was like, you got to be doing pretty well. You can have some if you like pay somebody to literally make a theme song whenever you like start or whatever. And of course, he had he was like really popular in the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which I personally didn't really think that game was for me, but I still kind of enjoyed watching. And he was yeah, I mean he kind of was the one to really spark my interests because I wanted to be confident like that when I did it. The way he just interacts with people, even though he sometimes just spits on them pretty much. Uh, but that's as far as I'll go with that. There are some ones out there like Tyler. I'm sure you've heard of Tyler. Tyler One,
I think I've heard
who's
his name
just
before.
he says that he's apparently it's all like a performance for him, but he's such an asshole.
I've never.
But people love him for it. Oh, Freeze asking. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you
Hmm?
saying?
Oh, Freddie. I said I've never heard of him. So no,
Oh,
wait, no, I've heard his name, but not like never seen any of his stuff.
oh, I'm sure you'll recognize him once you see him. He's got a distinct look. He looks like just pure muscle and anger.
Yeah. Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
The
that
one who
one.
screams a lot.
He screams all the
Yeah, yeah, okay.
fucking time. Like, god damn it! I need to turn my headset off. It hurt my ears. Okay, Freddie, is there one specific content creator that you think is a positive role model for the platform? Uh, I don't. I mean, there is one that I find hilarious. Like a dedicated Twitch streamer, and that is Moist Critical, or just call him Critical. He's being memed to high hell because he's just. I guess he just has the perfect reactions, and people just like clip it and then use it everywhere. Uh, and what I like about him is like he's also very confident and he also doesn't care. Like he does whatever he wants on his streams. And a lot of times that's very hard to do. That's really hard to pull off sometimes uh without some kind of repercussion for it. I mean, he made a video or he did one stream where like a more recent one I think he was like reviewing sex toys or something and he's like let me slip into something more comfortable and then it like switches to him with like a dominatrix mask on and like a belt around his I think it was like a belt around his neck or something. Like the guy just doesn't care. He had one where he said I'm going to break the Guinness Book of World Records by I think it was like having the longest stretching dildo or something like that. The guy just he's all over the place. And it would be nice to I mean, it's not a positive role model, I think, but it would be nice for people that are just starting out to just see him and then just kind of realize like it's really like you once you get to a certain point, you should just be you. Do whatever you want. Do whatever comes to your mind. And if people are interested in it, which there will be. There are people that are interested in everything. It's all about just the timing when they're watching, and you may luck up and have a huge follower base. People will watch you. They'll be like, "Oh, hey, this guy is playing this game." They'll tell their friends, then their friends will tell their friends, or they might post it somewhere, or they'll clip you and then put it in somewhere. I've seen somebody clip me and put and put me in a Discord. I think it was Feline when I was playing The Evil Within 2, and I was every time I have a curse. Every single time I talk shit about a game, I end up dying in it. Like if I get too confident, something bad happens. And in that particular game, I remember I was like, "Oh, this is great. I'm doing fine." And I step on a tripwire and just instantly blow up and die, and that got clipped. So it's just like timing, and it's also like as far as like the positive role models, I say just watch the people that are doing their own thing. You don't always have to like do what's trending or the biggest thing in order to get viewers because if you do that, it may sound like a good idea, but if you do that, you'll be competing with the big Twitch streamers that a lot more people are watching. Which I mean, if you want to do that, you can do that too. I'm just saying, just do your own thing. That should be the biggest positive role model that you would want is just do your own thing. Do what makes you comfortable. Do what makes you happy, and not feel pressured to, I guess, go with the grain with everybody else. I mean, that's what makes Twitch streamers popular. I think anyway, is them doing whatever they want to do. I mean, shit, they got Twitch streamers out there now that do like chess games. You know how boring chess is to watch?
Chess is very boring to watch.
Like I don't mind playing it,
I have
but
a story behind
god.
that, but that's a time for another day, and that's a private conversation.
Oh god, what did you do with those
Oh, I didn't do
pieces?
nothing. Do you want me? Do you want me to bonk you, motherfucker? Did you not see what I posted on that? What the thumbnail is here?
I've been staring at it this whole time. I'm like my face. Oh gosh. Or
Yeah.
people watching tend to watch for the game content or watch the streamer's personality? I would say they watch more for the streamer's personality. But don't like think that it's specifically the personality. Some people will watch for the game. I mean, hell, I when I first started, I well actually before I started, I would watch Twitch streamers essentially like indirectly review a game. Like when they start, if there's a game that I wanted, I would watch a Twitch streamer or I would watch a Let's Player and see their experience with the game, and that would kind of sort of influence my buy. If not if they were having fun, just like what they were doing. And I was like, oh, I actually really like that. Like say the Spider-Man game. If I had never played the Spider-Man game, I would watch a Let's Player like back then. I don't do that now, but I would watch a Let's Player and I'd see him swinging through rope, like swinging from building to building, kicking people in the face and doing all this cool stuff. And I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get this. This looks epic. Um, but if you wanna, if you just like I said, I mean, just try to stick with doing your own thing. People will eventually come. I mean, I don't want to say it's going to be certain because nothing's certain, but I think heavily that people will come. It may take a while, it may not, but people will see you. And if they like your personality, they will gravitate towards that. Or you may have some people that come just to watch the game. They'll just like if you're playing, what was it like Capsule? You say you were playing Ty, the Tasmanian Tiger, and
Yeah.
somebody came in saying that they remember the game. There you go. They'll people that'll just watch the stream and just watch somebody else. Some people just are very sadistic and they'll probably remember a part that gave them a hard time and they're just gonna wait for you to fuck up the same way that they did just so they could laugh. Um that happened with me in Outlast. Somebody was just like, "Hey, you should probably turn around," and then I got killed, and apparently they were laughing their butts off at me. So it's just it's a mixture of both, but I would say I would lean more towards the personality than the actual like game itself, because chances are people probably already played the game that you're playing, a lot of them. So it's just about trying to, I mean, it's your experience with it that distinguishes it from any other person who's doing the same thing.
I
That's
was.
it.
I would say it's a mixture of both, though, in my personal opinion, when it comes to it, like both personality and the game, because there's there's times where I'm like, I just don't care for the game going on. I'm not gonna watch. I'm gonna go do something else. But then again, like streamers have like helped a lot when it comes to like gaming, though. Like, did you see that one dude who tried being like, "Oh, streamers should pay the developers or something,"
Oh my god, that
and then
was
he
so
got
dumb.
and then he got his ass blown out by everyone, including DSP.
He was asking for it. He was asking for it with a
Even
comment like that.
Google
Oh.
Stadia was like, we don't affiliate with this person
Oh my
because
god.
Stadia
I read
needs
that. I was
streamers.
like, why would you say that? I don't even know if he was just like if he was just trying to pander to the
If
whatever
I'm
the game or
no,
he just had a
he's not the smartest man.
he had a twisted sense of morality. He probably thought he was doing the right thing. Oh, I'm supporting the streamers by telling everybody who streams their games that they need to pay to stream their games. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's TV programs that don't do that.
No, it was this guy also, if I'm correct, I'm trying to remember how he worded it because they were talking about he was trying to say there was like some type of like racism in like gaming reviewing because he's like I don't like the fact that like I'm trying to remember correctly so I can get it right, but I remember him saying I don't like the fact that like Japanese games get better reviews than like games that we make because he's trying to make it seem like oh they're getting better reviews because their stories are simpler to understand than ours and it's like what
He
it
was the
just
Last of Us fan, wasn't he?
I mean if I'm correct on what I remember learning about this man if I'm correct he used to work at Ubisoft and he was one of the people who wouldn't do the Assassin's Creed Japan because as they quote saying that's too easy to do Assassin's Creed in Japan even though everyone's like hey we want this though.
This, yeah. Uh, I swear, people like that are a treat because they're so emotional in their views, but all it takes is one person to just kind of pop a hole into it and just watch it just go all over the place.
I mean with this guy it was like
Because
multiple people
yeah, yeah, for this guy, he just landed on a bed of spikes and he was
including
just a
you
balloon.
including the
Like,
business you work for.
yeah, including the business that he worked for. Like, really, guy, come on. Um, shoot, I remember when you posted that, I was like, this is so dumb, and I think it wasn't an argument. I remember I was trying to explain to this other guy. He's like, yeah, we were getting into it. He's like, yeah, streaming's like super easy. I was like, well, I mean, it's not just that. You have other aspects of it that you gotta focus off if you ever want to build your channel. And I we just kept going at it, and I'm like, yeah, but I
He's
mean,
not
it's not the most physically taxing work, but it's also not like, oh, I'm just gonna do this and be done with it and have a nice night. It's a little more than
as
that.
I say, when it comes to people say that, I'm like, didn't you do it yourself? Like, give it a shot. Like, give it a shot. Like, don't forget, you shouldn't have a crappy mic. You need a good mic. Oh, if you want to stream a game, do you want to buy a capture card? Because capture cards are pretty expensive. Like, there's a lot of things that
Oh
go
my
into it.
god, yeah. If you want to stream a like more modern game, you're gonna need a pretty good PC for that, or a PlayStation Plus or whatever. Because a lot of the basic streaming devices are usually like they'll cap at 720, and like they started getting a lot better, I'd say, when the PS4 came out. But it's still a bit of a stretch just to say it's like, oh, I could just start it all. Like, yeah, you don't want, like you said, you don't want that Walmart mic on your stream if you want hashtag quality. People are gonna be listening to you, and you're gonna have all those crackling sounds and probably an echo and all that other stuff.
Like, there's a lot that goes
Um,
into streaming, and I will say, like, is it easy? No, it's not. It's because I know you're saying it wasn't like physically. Yeah, it's not physically stressing, but I say it's still mentally draining, though, because
yeah,
you have to sit there and talk, and even then, I can talk to myself all the time, but that's different from me having to talk to a stream while playing a game in front of people, or even then trying to make sure my stream is going and I'm talking because I don't want to just sit there quietly not playing, and that's me and everyone's different, but still.
there there are some streams out there that that are have it hashtag as like or God, what's the word? They'll have it like set to like silent stream or muted stream, so you'll go in just to sort of watch them play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there, like, there's a demographic for a lot of stuff out there. So I mean, shoot, I've watched some people do their entire streams without a mic. I don't know if you've ever heard of the content creator Quite Shy.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I've heard of her.
yeah, she's a literal mute. She cannot speak, but she will go on. She does art streams, and she is a Warframe content creator. And she's been one for a very, very long time. And uh, people really love her because of her snarky remarks, and she's just hilarious. She's basically like a big Warframe shit poster, and like I said, she's mute. She'll do streams and she can't speak. She'll just type in the keyboard, and when she can, because it's kind of hard to type in a chat while you're also playing a game. Can you imagine playing an online game and you're trying to like respond to people at the same time? You like go into your pause menu and then somebody shoots you while you're in your pause menu trying to respond to somebody else. I mean, I mean, like I said, it's a demographic for a lot of people out there. If it is a saturated demographic, uh, then you may have a tougher time. But I mean, if it isn't, I mean, it's just give it time. That's all I can say. Just give it some time, and you may just luck up. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but is always that chance that it could. But like for me, it didn't. For me, it took me a while. But for some other people, I've seen them just kind of start, and they did it for like a month, and then next thing you know, they're already like over 1,000 something followers, and I'm like, I fucking hate you. I wish death upon you for getting so popular. I'm just kidding, but yeah, you don't know. You just a roll of the dice, you know. You really don't know. Sometimes, like a thing that I was always told was, what was it? Success is when preparation meets. God, what was the name? What was the other word? Preparation meets something. God, I can't remember my own damn saying. But it's just, yeah.
Hmm.
I think. Well, well, if I may divert a little bit,
Hmm.
when you said that when you said that you didn't, like, you realized that like talking on stream wasn't for you, what kind of did you just not enjoy it?
It didn't like. I've realized as like me personally, I'm trying to figure out how to word it because for me, I enjoy talking to people, like actually hearing someone else speak to me. Like I feel like it's distracting for me to look at the chat and like trying to see who's talking to me, or if no one's speaking to me at all, then what's the point of me like streaming? I might as well just play by myself, like play not online, like not stream. That's why I kind of enjoy when I have other people with me, because I realize that's something I enjoyed while I was in college, because I remember I would go to my friends like up like apartment house slash house apartment, whichever you want to go with. But I started playing games at his place, and he enjoyed it, and we both sat there and like watched the game together, and talked about what was going on, and enjoyed it. And that's
There,
something I like to doing.
there's a streamer out there that I think he does that very thing. Goes by the name of In's Gaming Sanctuary, and he plays. I think it's like owned by a group of people, or might just be owned by him, and they stream games like in like as a group, or sometimes not even as a group. Sometimes it's just him, sometimes it's just some other guy, but it's like multiple people that are like streaming. And I mean, it can work, you know, if people find it interesting, if they like how you like are compatible, compatible. That just sounds odd. If they just like how you are with your friends, like some people it might hit close to home, like that's how they are with their friends, or they feel like they have known you or they'd be your friend if you ever met in person. Like that's can be another driving point. And like I said before, don't ever feel ashamed to get friends on your stream if you feel like it's just not going to be fun solo. Because
Yeah.
I know for me, when I'm not doing like a horror game or something, I'm just doing like a regular shooter. I am pulling shit out of my asshole just to talk about because it's like you don't want to be too quiet, but at the same time, uh, it's like I don't have my stream set to like mute, so people just watch the game so they actually hear my voice. So for me, I'm just like, okay, got my mic on. Really don't know what to talk about. I know the 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 whole election thing's going on right now. Well, not it's actually ended now, but it's another thing that I was gonna make jokes about. Just how everything's going, which I found kind of funny. But that's another discussion. That's another discussion for another day. It's
Hmm.
just me. It's being meme hell, and I find it hilarious. People have to meme everything.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
well, shoot, where were we? Where? I think I went off on another tangent.
You're good. We only have like three more things to ask before we're done. All right.
Wait.
Let's see. If you could pick if you like, since streaming is like, you consider streaming a hobby, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I would say, if you could pick a different hobby other than streaming, what would it be?
Um. Well, I kind of already have a different hobby, and that's doing art.
Hmm.
Uh, it's wasn't even. I didn't even think I would be into art as much as I am now, because back then, I I was the kind of person that would look at it and just be like, "Oh, it's just people drawing pictures. I could do the same thing. Ha ha ha." It wasn't until I actually tried to do what they did that I realized I've made a terrible mistake. I made a terrible analysis on how difficult this could be.
It's just old fashioned. I did the calculations, but man, I'm bad at math.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, I still wouldn't call myself an artist because I don't know. I have people that are really really good artists that is just like, you do art, you're an artist, you have like you've done art up to this point, you can be considered an artist. But I'm just like, there's still so much for me to learn because I'm still relatively new, and I'm sure you're learning too. You're definitely improving. Um, I've been to say that I'm usually at work all the time, and I just kind of forget when I see after you've posted it.
It's all good.
But you definitely improved. Um, and like I said with streaming, the same thing with art, same thing with anything is consistency is key. But also experimentation. When I started art, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know what to start with. I had a person tell me that I need to draw squares on a piece of paper all day. It's like, oh, this is going to help your line work. So I did that. Didn't help. Did something else and drew like cubes and then triangles and all that other stuff. And it's like, oh, this is not really helping. Let me try to experiment with these things. And that's kind of how I got better, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would definitely be my other hobby. I don't plan to make money from art, kind of like how I don't really plan to make money from streaming.
Yeah.
I do it just kind of for fun, and sometimes just to socialize and take my mind off of stuff in the real world. The
Yeah.
shitty, boring real world. I want to see my big titty dragon waifus. I don't want to see the big hairy man at my job.
But no, I get it. I get what you're saying. No, like especially with
Yeah.
our things, since like what I've been doing is just a whole like you've seen it. Just each day, I'm just like, let me draw something, and I've realized why. I think that's more. I think that's a lot better for me to do that. It kind of keeps me consistent, and plus it is starting. I'm starting to like understand certain things I need to look at and like understand and what my skill set is. At least right now I'm doing redraws. Eventually is gonna start going into the whole let me start doing the original character stuff.
Yeah, I would. Well, no, it's different for everybody, but for me, I was like, I found it easier to do like redraws, or I tried to do I tried to learn some basic anatomy, and after I did that, I started trying to draw out what I saw in anime. Um, because I said it before, I feel like I'm the most unoriginal person out there. Like a lot of ideas that I have are just not really super unique. But a thing that I did learn was there's a lot of things out there that are not super unique, but it's just how you go about making them that kind of grabs people's attention. Like, uh, if you wanted, this is a bad example. Somebody took Majin Vegeta's head and put it on a big titty like swimsuit girl's body, and, and they had him with his Vegeta voice like, "What these, my boobies?"
Oh,
It's
I
like,
remember seeing
it's
that. I've seen that.
my mess of fucking. It's little. It's probably a terrible example, but it's little stuff like that. Like you've seen big boob swimmer models, but have you seen big boob swimmer models with Majin Vegeta's head on them? Saying it's you just combine a bunch of unoriginal things and put it together to make something original. And I feel like that's kind of that's sort of a building block of making something new.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Once you get to that point, you continue doing what you're doing. I'm waiting for you to get to that point where you're just gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna draw this.
I mean, that's the point
Oh
of
wait.
why I'm trying to get better at drawing anyway. Just like I want to draw what I want to draw. I want to draw stuff that I imagined. I'm like, I don't have the money and I don't have the type of power right current power right now to commission someone. So let me get better at drawing so I can start doing the stuff myself.
You know, that's kind of the same mentality I had when I started. Is that I had so many ideas, but I just didn't have the money to commission anybody. So I just kind of said, screw it. Let me try it myself. Uh, I mean, now I could do it. Because I mean, artists they a lot of artists need a lot of money. I mean, well, not maybe not like not a lot, but I mean, they need to pay bills and such, and they just want to make a living off of doing their passion.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I mean, for like at the time, I was like, I'm broke. I can't do that. It looks nice, but I can't pay you that much. Hey, also remember that one artist who did like who was like charging people like 3,000, almost up to 6,000 art piece.
Yeah. I still
Dude
can't.
didn't even want to. He wanted to pay his bills for the fucking year.
I still like that's something I'll say for like when me you and I'm trying to think of a third person that I should get to do that art commentary community thing on. I might ask Blue if he is up to do like a podcast because
Oh yeah,
that's
Blue
a
knows a
thing.
lot.
That's a whole territory of that's still nonsense to me, and no one can tell me different. That I will not pay $3,000. Like I get you have a certain amount of commissions you want to do, but that's why people have slots. I'm not paying you $3,000 for an image unless that image can talk to me and do chores for me. I'm not paying $3,000.
Oh, Quiddy, you asshole. I just checked the Discord and she said, I'm sorry to hear that when you said I'm streaming with Ray.
Oh,
You- I just glanced over it. But that is insane. That is insane. Why? And apparently people are buying it because they keep charging it.
I was
So I'm
so
like, who the hell has that kind of money?
I was so
Oh,
baffled how the artist was like pretty much blocking anyone who disagreed with him, including other artists who are like, "Hey, man, that's a little too. Anything that's a little too much." Like even people who were just like not even trying to be rude about you was blocking. I was just like, Jesus. Like,
I yeah, that was I literally thought it was a hoax. And I didn't even see it from the source at first. There was a SFM artist that I follow, or SFM animator, and they had made a post. They said, "Do you want to? If you want to like commission me, I'll do a wiggle for $3,000." And somebody actually like linked the the other artist channel that was actually charging like $3,000 for their commissions. And when I clicked on it, I was like, "This is fake. This is not real. There's no way." Um, like gosh. And then there were other artists that were actually defending the guy. And I'm like, they're just like, how long do you think he takes on this art piece? I'm like, yeah, but god damn, like 3,000? That's like
uh,
that's more than a lot of good
uh,
jobs pay in a day.
well, my question is that all those people are like, how much is your commissions? If it's not that much, then why are you defending this?
Oh my god, I hate that. I just I uh
All right, that'll be a topic for the art one if we whenever we do that one.
that were they were questioning this guy. They were just like, dude, that's a bit much
It
for like
is
one piece. I mean, even if it takes you like a week, still that's that's a bit much.
arm and a leg.
And yeah, and they were just like, oh, why do you care? You should be charging higher. You price your stuff. I'm like, is it too high? I mean, and you're not that big, then chances are you're depending on faith to bring somebody with a lot of money and a very niche curiosity to find you. And that can be incredibly hard in the saturated art community that is Twitter.
Well, the weird thing was about that situation was the fact that I followed him both on DeviantArt first, and then the other website he's on, and then he all of a sudden had a Twitter, and that's when I was like, that's the first time I ever saw his commissions. I was just like,
Oh,
what?
DeviantArt. I think people tried to all move to Tumblr, and then that got screwed, so they ended up all moving to Twitter, and
Pretty much.
that's yeah.
It's
I don't.
either Twitter. It's either Twitter or for Fanity now. It's one of those two people are on now, or Pillow Fort now,
Oh
but
god,
still.
I yeah, I remember getting on Furfinity for the very first time. That was a very interesting time.
I still use it, but I only time I use it if an artist I already know has one. I never use the main page to look up new art or look up characters. I was like, oh, I want to see if find some good art of this character because you'll find more creepy, disgusting stuff than you find good art, and you're like, I'll just wait until like an artist I like appears, and I'll look through their favorites.
Man, the first piece that I saw was a person being devoured by a giant like crystal fox. And I'm like, okay.
You got lucky with that one. I saw some stuff that I'm like, that shouldn't be allowed on here, but it is okay.
Why is four so freaking big in the furry community? Like, goddamn, that's so weird.
I don't
And I,
know. And we did a whole fucking
why
video. We did a whole podcast on that. I think that's one thing we never talked about. Is like, why that one?
even now I'm confused by that. Uh, I mean, I have some hypothesis, hypothesi, hypothesis I have some ideas, but it's just kind of it's up in the air.
I know one dude in that
Uh
server
oh,
posted some like like a live action version of like Crystal from Star Fox devouring a dude, and I missed it, but I saw it because I think C reposted it again. But I think the reason why it was gone because everyone was like, "Get this shit out of here." It was gone.
I there's some people out there just weird, like with their I guess kinks. I mean I try not to kink shame, but there's some of them out there that's just kind of like I didn't expect this to be sexual. I don't understand the logic behind it being sexual, but you do you. But then I started realizing, like when I got on Fur Affinity, or I got on and don't judge me, I got on E621, you know that place.
Yeah,
I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is this is like all over the place right now. I don't know what the hell I'm watching. Yeah,
that's
it's
there's things that will never get. Even if someone could explain it to me, I'm like, I still don't get it.
I I wonder I wonder if there's like you ever seen like a movie where there's something really niche, but there's like some really rich guy who has everything, and he like seeks out that weird niche weird stuff. So the reason these people like making this weird shit is because there's like one person who actually can afford it, and they're charging super high because these people can afford it.
That's the weird thing. That
I
is mostly that's a lot of things the furry community actually does, which I don't get either. Still,
Where the fuck did they get all that money?
you think I
God
know?
damn.
I don't know either, man. It just happens.
I'm gonna become a furry. Maybe I'll have some money to buy a lot of expensive art pieces.
Maybe. All right, we got two more questions here. Um, okay, here's the next one. Let's say like tomorrow or whenever you stream again, like after this podcast, like all of a sudden this like me like being on this podcast or you play a game next week and you kick off all of a sudden you get like 100 or 200 people all of a sudden following you, like people are actually sending you donations all of a sudden. Would you like, and like you're actually making a lot more money compared to your actual job, would you decide to be like other streamers and YouTubers and like be like, I'm gonna make this my full-time job now, like fuck my other job, if you
I
ever
would
got
make it.
that big?
I would make an OnlyFans, and I mean, if it worked out, then yeah. Um, I mean, because the only thing that's tough on my motivation is doing it alongside working all day.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've worked full time, and then I get home, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna stream till like super late at night, wake up super early, go back to work, rinse and repeat. And I ended up having to break up those days because I couldn't do it every single day. I got super drained. But I mean, with if I were to blow up, yeah, I would probably do that. I mean, as long as I knew that it was reliable and I knew that it was consistent. So if I was getting a consistent amount of money with each stream in order to pay bills, then yes, it would be less work than what I'm currently doing, and I could focus on it and I guess have a little bit more free time if it worked out. Because the with streams and all that, I mean, it's not always guaranteed you're going to get a lot of money from it. I mean,
Yeah.
you may have a long stream and only get like $60 or something from it. I mean, if it's consistent and I get a lot from it, then yeah, I would leave my job.
Hmm.
Probably in a heartbeat. I'd probably tell my boss, hey, eat a sack of baby dicks. I'm gonna go do this.
I know personally for me though, like I've always thought about that idea of like in case like if I keep doing the podcast or whatever and like or do anything else when it comes to this stuff and I become like just I become one of the people like, oh, you should watch his streams. Like you start getting all the massive followers and like people are like giving you money and stuff like that. I think for me personally, I would probably still keep my job because I always thought about the idea of what if something bad happens? What if all of a sudden the streaming, what if like Twitch dies just the next day? Twitch just boom gone, or YouTube boom gone. And it's like, okay,
That's
I
what
go back to my old job.
Well, that's when I say have a contingency plan in
Yeah,
case if that happens. Uh, if you are big, like if I became big, the thing that I would try to do is whatever profits I make from that, I would try to invest in other forms of media. So if it didn't work on Twitch, something happens on Twitch, I would try to get on YouTube. I would try to merchandise and try to find other ways to make profit in case of Twitch didn't work.
yeah,
I wouldn't want to put my entire like, for example, shoot, he's probably not a good example because a lot of people either love him or you hate him. But PewDiePie, for instance, is the
mm,
biggest guy on YouTube. um Even he has his own merchandise store, even though he gets all these views and all this like almost everybody knows him. He still, in case if YouTube didn't work out, he's still set because he still has a bunch of merchandise. He still is sponsored on a lot of things. uh and it's like I saw a guy the other day with a G Fuel like container with the PewDiePie's like colors and logo on it, which I was like, okay, that's actually the first time I've ever seen that, which is pretty neat. But I mean, it's like even if it didn't work, just don't put all your hopes into that. It's just like jobs too. I mean, always try to have a contingency plan if it's something that you don't feel like is gonna like last forever.
yeah. It,
Especially where like jobs where I live, they fire you at the drop of a dime. It's all.
yeah, man, it's just I don't know. It's just when it came down to it, I always thought about the idea of like, in case something goes wrong, I much rather prefer to keep like my other job still. So like, I still would see the streaming as just more money that helps with the bills, but at least I still have this other job in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a lot about time management as well. Like when I said I was gonna, you could spend like if you decided to, you could also spend that time to try and come up with ideas and merchandise and maybe have another stream channel. I mean, shoot, I don't know if you ever heard of Roanoke Gaming. He does now. He originally did analysis videos, but then he opened up a creepypasta channel, and he also opened up a channel where he explains about viruses. And he's literally like plugging each of his own channels into the other channels and getting profits from all of them. It's a lot more work and a lot more editing, but he's getting profit from all of them. So, but as far as like, so that would be very time consuming. The payoff would probably be very good because you're getting three different kinds of payment. In case of one fails, you still have the other two. Um, but as far as like trying to do all that and have a job at the same time, I mean, it is kind of a job. But I mean, if you're doing all that editing and all that, like keeping track of all three channels, it would probably be impossible for you to do that and have like an outside job. Which I mean, the guy is like a biologist. He probably could find a job in a heartbeat. I don't think there's any shortages of bio hires.
Well, the problem with that
Then again, I don't know.
really, well, the kind of issue with that is like he needs to make sure he can also retain the knowledge in case something happens, because he may have the degree, but if he goes back and he's like, I forgot all this shit, then he's kind of fucked.
Hmm. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right then. So on to now the last one. It's you kind of already said a lot, but you can still, if you have anything else like more positive for us to say, is like, the question was, any words for streamers who are struggling or even wanting to consider getting into this?
It's it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough trying to get people to watch you. I always say start with family and friends first. Start with people you know. Just tell them about it or just bring it up. Have that, but also stay consistent in what you do. Find a time, find a good day, um, to do your streams and try to stay consistent with it. Because if a person does follow you, then and they read your bio, because you're gonna want your times to be in your bio as well, or your Twitch page, and they're gonna be expecting you to be like up there live during those times. Now, if you're just starting out, you're gonna have a lot more lenience, or you could be a lot more lenient. But you can, like, as you continuously accumulate followers, at least from what I've seen, people start expecting, like, the demand starts increasing. But that's not always a bad thing. Uh, don't expect it to happen overnight. Just do what you want to do. Try to, like, if you're going to be on the mic, try to at least talk about anything, chat, even if nobody's speaking, just talk. Or it's think of it like a bit of a performance, but you're playing yourself as the character. I don't know how else I could word that, but that's kind of how I thought about it. It's like you're in a play, but you're literally being yourself in the play. You are trying to entertain, but you're entertaining in the way that really shows your personality. And if you're wanting to play certain, like, just play any game you want, people will see it regardless. And always try to improve. If there's something that you feel like you are struggling in, try to improve upon it. Sometimes that could consist of you recording yourself and just listening to yourself. I remember when I first tried to do voice acting, it was like I listened to myself. I was like, this is awful. So I would have to, like, wake up. I would wake up some early morning and then just start citing lines. And the same goes with Twitch streams. It's just like the longer you do it, the more confident you'll become. You may be very shy or timid at first, but when you keep doing it, you'll start to get some bass in your voice. You'll start to really get into it. So I mean, I wouldn't fret too much about that. And also, if you want people uh like to join you on your streams, don't feel embarrassed to ask them. I mean, you're it's your stream, it's your channel. You do whatever you want with it. If you want more people, or if you want to have a channel specifically with multiple people on there, that works too. It's all what makes you the most comfortable. I think that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
I think that's it, at
Alright,
least from my experience. Now, there's a lot more learning out there, but that's just life itself.
yeah.
Always learn something.
Alright, well, this is gonna be closing statements then.
Uh,
Um. So, yep, this has been the Capsule-kin podcast with Reeps here. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Sometimes you have to bonk him on the head a lot. A lot. Actually, I take that back. Not sometimes, every time. But
no.
I do have his both his Twitch and his Twitter down, and like the link, so you can follow him on those. He's cool. He's been getting a lot better with his art. He even done like little comics and stuff like that. He's really good. But to let you know now, it's 18 plus, so that's a warning for you, just in case you don't want to.
I'm getting to the juicy parts of that one comic. I'm sorry. I got off the tangent again.
You're fine. But next, I will say this now before we officially end. Next week, I will be doing another podcast, hopefully with hopefully nothing goes wrong during that time for me or anyone else. I'll be doing another podcast with Fred. Like you've seen him already. You've seen Freddie, my friend Freddie.
Yeah.
We be doing me and my other friend. Let me see if he's here. Oh yes, my other friend Spaghetti. We will be doing a stream talking about our lovely, lovely relationship with Naruto and how great it is, and how much we won't be going on tangents and probably won't feel like we're just crazy people talking about Naruto.
I am afraid to talk about that. I don't know if that's gonna be very interesting. I'm gonna definitely stop by.
Oh, we listen. We've done tangents where we've just said the same thing again, but we don't care because we just repeat ourselves. No, you're not crazy. You're not crazy, Spaghetti. You're the Green Power Ranger. Look at you. Even your name on my stream is green. You're the Green Ranger, man. You're never crazy. But
shoot.
but that's what we'll be doing next week, and that to that point where I will even be posting all over the place from both Instagram, Twitter, and probably even my Facebook, because this is a thing I've been planning for a long time. This is something I've actually wanted to be the first thing I ever talked about, really, when I started doing podcasting. And now I finally can do it, so this is going to be the time. And since they're here now, I'm going to say this to you guys now. I'm taking the bullet for you motherfuckers, and I'm going to start reading and maybe even watch the movie for Boruto so I can get some understanding of what's going on. So I can feel my pain and then see how I can translate it back. I will even maybe make notes. I'm not sure if I want to be that motivated or not, because I think I need to have some understanding if I'm going to shit on it more. I already shit on enough, but I think I'm going to need more understanding so I can get my full point in there.
Hey, did you know that they're making the same thing with Inuyasha?
Yes.
The kid is focusing on the kid.
I think it's already out, if I'm correct.
Oh, is it?
I think it is.
Gosh.
I haven't watched it. The weird thing, I don't hear. I think if it is out, I have not heard a single person talk about it. Like zero. When it was announced, I saw people talk about it, but if it's out now, I have not heard a single comment. And I'm like, that doesn't bode well, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, you don't hear any bad things, but not hearing any good things either, that just means people are just not interested, probably.
Maybe. Okay,
Oh,
but
God. This Boruto discussion is going to be very interesting because I haven't seen it either.
oh, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be mostly Naruto. Like Boruto's just gonna be like the little cherry there. That's like we don't want it, but it's there.
We don't want, but it's there.
All right, man. Thank you, and thank you again for coming on, Reeves, and like doing this thing with me and everything.
Oh yeah, it's been fun. It's always nice to talk with you again, and also a tease a little bit because you're definitely improving in art, and I know you're probably gonna surpass me at some point too. So I'm gonna talk my shit now.
Oh no, man! I think you're good already because you're doing comics. I'm not doing that. Also, you're doing like your original character. I'm just doing mostly redraws right now.
I mean, I started with redraws. You'll get there, and then you'll be making cool looking characters. And then I'm gonna have to fan art them. Yes.
Dude, I don't give a fuck if anyone lose my characters. If anyone wants to take those characters I've already made into stuff, I don't care as long as it's not weird.
I'm gonna make them vor.
Reeves, I will never speak to you again. I will legitimately never, ever, ever speak to you again. If you do any of that.
The first time I see you, you're gonna hit me in the face with a bat.
Yes, you will legitimately get bonked by a metal bat.
Oh god, a metal one. Jesus.
Because that's the extra. That's like the... that's like the scene from Ed and Eddie where Rolf had like the giant like hat hammer thing. If you know what I'm talking.
Discipline.
Yes, that. That
Oh
very much
god.
be that. But okay, all right. I put it in the stream now, so thank you everyone for coming on, and like I said, thanks Race for coming on again. Tune in
Yeah.
next week for our Naruto discussion. Bye.
Bye.